The observation deck of the Celestial Harbinger had become a war zone in less than 30 seconds. Commander! Vexal watched through the reinforced viewport as his best shock troops lay scattered across the corridor, some unconscious, others groaning, all defeated. At the center of the carnage stood Velker, the Carvian cub they'd captured 3 cycles ago. His silver-blue fur bristled with bioelectric energy, claws extended, fangs bared. Blood not his own dripped from his small frame. Impossible, Vexal muttered. It's just a juvenile. His tactical officer, Rensha, tapped her datapad with trembling fingers. Sir, the Cub's combat efficiency rating just exceeded our projections by 400%. In Carvian development cycles, he shouldn't possess these abilities for another solar rotation. Velker snarled at the door where more soldiers gathered, their plasma rifles raised. The translators caught fragments of his clicking speech. Threats, warnings, declarations of violence that would have impressed a seasoned warrior twice his age. His eyes triple-pupilled and burning amber tracked every movement with predatory precision. Hold fire, Vexal commanded. They'd captured this specimen for study, not execution. The Carvian species was legendary apex predators from a death world where even the plants could kill. But cubs were supposed to be harmless, curious, playful things. Not this. Never this? Sir, permission to speak? Rensha's voice carried an unusual tone. Granted. Where's the human? Vexal's mandibles clicked in irritation. Mendez? In her quarters. Why does that matter? Because, sir, she's the only one who's been able to approach the cub since capture. She's been feeding him, talking to him. Even, Rensha paused, searching for the word, playing with him. That's irrelevant to our current crisis. Is it? Rensha pulled up security footage on her screen. Watch this. Timestamp, 0600 hours this morning. The holographic projection showed Aria Mendez's quarters. The human woman small by galactic standards, fragile-looking with her soft skin and lack of natural armor sat cross-legged on the floor. Velker curled in her lap, purring. Actually purring. The fearsome predator they'd just witnessed reduced to something almost domestic. Aria scratched behind his tufted ears. Good morning, little guy. Did you sleep well? Velker chirped, nuzzling against her hand. I know. I've got watch duty in 10 minutes. She kissed the top of his head. I'll see you later, okay? But she didn't say goodbye. The footage showed Aria standing, checking her uniform and leaving. Velker watched the door close, his ears drooping. He waited and waited. He pulled at the door, whimpered. Then, when the breakfast cycle passed and she didn't return, something in his young eyes changed. Vexal watched the rest unfold. How Velker had torn through the door locks, using electromagnetic pulses his species shouldn't master until maturity. How he'd fought through every obstacle between him and the observation deck where Aria had mentioned she'd be stationed. But she'd been reassigned to engineering at the last minute. He's looking for her, Rensha said quietly. In the present moment, Velker's energy output spiked again. The lights flickered. 2 more soldiers tried to flank him, and he moved with liquid grace, sending them sprawling with calculated strikes. Not killing, Vexal noted, just incapacitating. The cub was holding back even in this state. Get Mendez now. 3 minutes felt like an eternity. Velker had backed himself into a corner, literally his small body coiled like a spring. Every soldier who approached received the same treatment, swift, brutal efficiency that should have been impossible for his age. The medical team stood ready with sedatives, but no one could get close enough. Then Aria Mendez ran through the door. Stand down. She shouted at the soldiers, then dropped to her knees. Velker! The transformation was instant. The bioelectric charge faded. His claws retracted. The feral snarl melted into something else entirely, a whimper, high-pitched and broken. Velker's legs seemed to give out, and he stumbled toward her. I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. Aria opened her arms, and the lethal predator that had decimated a trained military unit collapsed into her embrace, and then the impossible happened. The cub wept. Not the tactical retreat of a defeated warrior. Not the pain response of an injured animal. Velker pressed his face against Aria's shoulder and sobbed deep, shuddering cries that echoed through the corridor. His small body shook with the force of it. You didn't say goodbye. The translator finally caught his words between the sobs. You always say goodbye, always. I thought you left me like the others. Like everyone leaves. Arya held him tighter, tears streaming down her own face. Never. I will never leave you. I just forgot to say the words this morning. I'm sorry, I'm here now. I'm here. The entire bridge crew stood in stunned silence. Vexal felt something uncomfortable twist in his chest, an emotion his species rarely processed. Commander, Rensha whispered, I'm reading his biochemistry. The stress hormones, the cortisol analog, the panic response. Sir, he wasn't fighting to escape. He was fighting to find her. He was terrified. Velker's claws gripped Arya's uniform, gentle now, like a child afraid to let go. Promise? Promise you'll say goodbye? I promise, sweetheart, every single morning. Goodbye and hello always. The cub's sobs gradually quieted to hiccups, then to exhausted breathing. Arya rocked him slowly, humming something low and soothing, a human lullaby. Vexal's database informed him. Rensha, Vexal said, his voice carefully controlled. Prepare new quarters. Adjoining spaces for Mendez and the cub. And update the personnel files. Sir? It appears we haven't been studying a specimen. We've been holding someone's child. Arya looked up at him, her expression fierce despite the tears. He's not a specimen. He never was. No, Vexal agreed. Watching as the most dangerous being on his ship, who could have killed them all, chose instead to be vulnerable in the arms of a human who remembered to say goodbye. No, he's not. In the archive logs later, Rensha would note, humans remain the galaxy's greatest mystery, not for their capacity for violence, but for their capacity to love the unloved and fierce. And perhaps more importantly, for teaching others how to weep instead of kill.